Hi, so today we're going to go ahead and start the build on the 2.2 Sportsman Class build. So today we're actually going to start on the axles. So these are what I'm going to be using here. I've got the over and under drive gears, XR front shafts to accommodate for the RC Burley splines to convert it all to XR width. Back axles for the regular SCX10 axles. I got STRC upper link mounts, aluminums, and all Vanquish product here. C-hubs, Vanquish C-hubs, Vanquish knuckles, and the SCX10 rear lockouts. Just because the XR mod, you have to use the Wraith setup, and not so the SCX10 rear lockouts still stay the same. Nothing changes. Of course, I got my housings here, my bearings, and then I got beef tubes here. Which will be going into the SX10 axle in the rear, not the fronts, but the rear only, because I have the Burley splines that are just for the fronts. And of course my servo plate and for my battery, which I'll have to do a little bit of modification on it, but I'll be going over that with you guys later. So alright, so let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so we're back here. I've got the axle housing torn apart. I went ahead and I've got the inside grooved out with a Dremel. It's only the ends here. As you can see, I didn't do the inside ones here, only the outsides. But you have to do it on both casings, on both ends. You can see the difference here on this one, how where the screw hole comes, how it's still raised, and it's got these little pins right here. You got to take all those off so they're flat and smooth with the inside of the casing to get the beef tubes work. So basically, I went ahead and got the beef tubes in. I went ahead. You got to install the rear shaft into the beef tube before you attach it in, and of course those are if you want the part number AX30421, that's what I use for the straight axles for the SX10. And then of course you can see I got the aftermarket over underdrive, excuse me, in which is a 4313, which is an AX30402. So that's what I've got running for the rear end right now. So let's go ahead. I'm going to get this thing closed up and we'll continue on. Okay, so I've got the casing all back together. So I got the rear lockouts on. When you're using the beef tubes, you got to use a bigger screw. So these are 3x8 millimeter. You're going to use to attach your hubs. I'm sorry, your lockouts to your axles, because you need a little longer to reach the beef tubes inside. They can be a little bit of a pain sometimes to get on. So what I usually do is I'll usually sometimes use like an awl and get in that hole and kind of jerk it around till they line up, and then you can start getting into it. You just gotta be careful because it's aluminum, so you could ruin the threads on the screw trying to get in. I actually had one of them kind of get all messed up, so I had to back out the other side and then wiggle it around with an awl to get it all the line up straight. But then I got it all in. So and then of course I got the STRC upper link on right now, all aluminum, and it already comes with screws in the kit for these. So, and then I went ahead and put on the 2.2 hex hubs, which they're a little bit different than the 1.9s. The 1.9s, see how the 2.2s, how the hex head kind of has a little nipple, further nipple on it. You need that for the extra little bite on those wheels. The 1.9s just come flat. They don't have that little extra nipple on there. So you don't have to have it, but it helps. Every little bit you can help. So because the 2.2s are going to put a little bit more torque and stress on the hubs, on the hex hubs. So it's nice to have this extra space, this nipple here. So the rear is done now, and so now I'm going to go ahead and move on to the front axle, which is going to take me a little bit more time because there's some drilling, some tapping going on. So I'll try and keep you up to date as I go along. Okay, thanks. Okay, so right now I'm starting on the front axle. So right now I've got the axle part, and I've got RC Brothers Burley spline tubes. They're pretty easy to install. There's a video on RC Brothers Bros that tells you actually how to install these, but I'm not going to go through all that because I don't want to bore everybody. But this is how they're going to inset in. And of course, I've got inside right now ready to go is my overdrive for my gearing. And right now, the gearing I'm going to be using is going to be 3614, part number AX30401. This will give the overdrive to the comp crawler, giving it the ability to pull the rear end up faster. It'll also, in relation to doing your sharp turn, your turning radius, you can be able to pop the trigger, and it will help you spin around a little bit more faster, or turn tighter of a radius than the regular stock. So, and then I'm going to be using universals. These are XR10 universals. You can kind of see I have modded these. I've ground down these edges over here to they're more at a slant, all the way around from the outside ones to even on the inside ones. So now, I mean, they go all over the place without any bind. If you don't do that, you'll get bind. They'll only allow you to stop so far. So I've done that to both of these XR10 front universal shafts. If you want to know the part number on these, it is AX305. Oh, let me get that back into focus. AX30563. So that would be the part number you want to use to continue on with this XR mod. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get this scene closed up, and we'll get right back. Hi, okay, so we're back, and I just finished putting together the front axle assembly. So I got the Burley spline tubes in, got the XR universals, the STRC top link mount. Now I'm getting ready to put the knuckles, Vanquish knuckles, onto the C-hubs. Going, of course, got to put the bearings in. What I'm going to be using for the bushings, I'm going to be using deluxe no slop bushings. So what that will do is it replaces the stock bushings that come with the manufacturer's ones, and it eliminates a lot of that play that's in your knuckle. I mean, it makes it nice and tight. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to throw those in now and attach everything together. Okay, so as you can see, I have finished my front axle. It's completely finished now. I got the XR mod high steering done on it, with the over-under drive on both axles now. And so now I'm just ready to start working on the links. So that would be the next episode. But thanks for tuning in and watching this build. Like I said, next one will be links. We'll be attaching those to the chassis and to the axles. Thanks.